Hello, I am Gepwin. This is Planet Explorers, and it's been a long time since I've done a build video. I did those Christmas ones, but I wanted to jump in, do a build video of this sword. I saw a pretty neat... I wish we'd get something that's not just copper hilts. Sorry. Anyway, I saw this pretty neat sword. Some art for it anyway. I think that it might be from the Gundam series. I'm actually not that familiar with the Gundam series. Just haven't got a chance to see it. I have nothing against seeing it. It's just such a hugely expansive series. I haven't gotten a chance to look at it yet. I need it to be up a little bit. It's got a little bit. I want it to have a little bit of a pommel, but not too much. And then we just need to make sure that we have this hilt over one so that we can make sure the blade is one thick in the middle. I kind of like. And I don't know where I'm going to have the other part of the blade, so we'll leave the hilt here for now. The blade's going to extend over the back of the blade over the back of the hilt quite a bit, so we're going to have to see where everything winds up. Let's move this up a bit. I want the blade to start a slight bit further down. It's going to have a pretty intricate crossguard looking bit when I'm all done with it. And I'll try to go through. The thing that struck me about this sword is it's really interesting. Let's make it out of aluminum, just to make sure we get a good damage to weight ratio. The thing that struck me about this sword is it's got this interesting look. It's got a curved blade going up to the top, but it's got a couple of curves. Not a couple of curves. It's like an inner blade and an outer blade. Basically, it's an inner blade that has been wrapped in an outer blade, which I thought was pretty cool looking. Let's go way down because we're going to need to cut this in half a couple times just to make it look right. Let's further down than that. Using these circles to make blades is nice, but it's a bit weird. So we need to make the first blade. I'm going to do the outer blade first. It looks a bit like a switchblade almost. I don't know if it wraps up inside itself in the show or something, but that's a little bit how it looks. I want this to be out a little further than I want the inner blade to be. I need it to be a little bit wider than I want the inner blade to be. And then we need to make sure that it is centered on the thing here. That is way too wide. Let's just start it. Yeah, a couple out. It's still way too wide. Let's just make this. Let's try making it 3 wide for the outer blade, and then we'll do the inner blade as a 1 wide. That should work. Yeah, I think that should work. And we just need this to be a big, freaking huge oval. See, that's the problem. It's gonna wind up looking too weird because we didn't start it far enough down. Now, using these ovals to make blade shapes is really nice because it gives you this nice sharp edge here. But now my sword is now my sword's gonna look a bit strange. So I ideally want to cut it off about here. Alright, we're gonna start this over, but let's move. Now we have a little bit of reference parts. Nope. Let's just move our hilt up to kind of an area where we'd be able to cut it off easily. Yeah. We'll take our reference way back down to the bottom. We'll keep our hilt there, and then we will undo. Ah, dang it, we can't undo that bit. Well, I could have deleted it, but we'll put our hilt up here. It'll make the overall sword length a little bit shorter, but that shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter as much. Let's get back to our materials and grab our aluminum. Excuse me. I'm gonna be a little coffee today. I don't feel particularly well. Wanted to do a sword video. I'm going on vacation soon. I wanted to make sure I had some videos done for you guys, but don't feel super great. So I apologize if this video is a bit weird and full of me coughing and other things. Alright, let's get this up so that the hilt is about where the midpoint of the... is about where the midpoint of this circle is, or at least a decent point. You know what? I didn't make the circle anywhere near wide enough. So we need the middle of the circle to be there. I apologize for all of this, you know, futzing around. We need to make sure, one, that this has one space on either side of the sword, and two, when we cut it in the middle there, it creates a nice straight back that we can use. There, we'll take it around there. I want to have a reference plane for where the heck my hilt is, because I can't see it in there. Yeah, so someplace around there. Okay. Then we just need to go back to our materials. Use the plus button to up the depth on our selection. I'm going to do a little bit of tutorializing in case people aren't familiar with some of the techniques I'm using. Then let's grab as much of this as I can. I can't grab all of it. You're going to have to do a couple of tries. And cut a straight thing on the bottom here. That's okay, the hilt's a little lower. Then back here, because I want it to be behind the hilt a bit, I'm using a reference photo of this sword. I'm not trying to copy it exactly, but I want to be able to copy any of the bits I found interesting. I'm going to cut it a little farther than I want it to be, because this is the outer blade, so I need to focus more on this shape down here rather than the entirety of the blade shape. And this shape down here has some interesting things going for it that I want. So that's part of the blade. It's not the full blade, but see the curve on this makes it... Let's get rid of this thing here. Don't want this weird little bit hanging around. Come on, go away. Go away. There. It's going to be a shorter sword because we had to start it about midway up the sword thingy. That should give us some cool detail at least. Now, I want to cut out a bit, heading up to here. Let's see. Yeah, cut out a bit going up there, and probably one or two bits going up this way, because I want it to have this cool little cutout like that. Then it goes up a bit more, and then has another cutout, you know, going back this direction. Oop, I'm not using my add button. You can use shift to add to your selection. It's got just a cool little cutout going kind of like that. And then we can get rid of all of this material going up the sword, and that will be most of our sword blade. So we gotta, come on, get rid of that. I said, get rid of it. So difficult to select just what you want. Go away. Go away. There we go. Let's delete, you know, everything. Gone and gone. Except there's a weird little jig there. I don't know what that's about. That might have to stay though. Might have to stay. That's the outside blade, more or less. Alright, the inner blade is going to come up here. It's going to have a bit here. That's the straight back, and then it's going to continue up and around and be a little bit shorter than this blade. Yeah, that's the inner blade. Pretty well done for now. There's a couple more little details I want to put on, but we're going to make the inner blade now. We'll make this one out of another material. I don't know. I don't know if I'll paint this. The paint jobs have been... I don't know, there's been something a bit off on... I don't know. There's been something a bit off on the paint recently in this. So if this is just a reference, I'm not going to actually have it here. But if I take it back this way, there's something like that, but I need to start it way further down. So this inner blade needs to start A little in from this line, yeah? That's too far in. Yeah, this blade starts about here. So the inner blade should start 1 or 2 in from that line, and that'll do. It's really hard to keep an eye on this thing. I'm glad there's a grid here, because otherwise it'd be impossible to make this sword. So we'll start at 2 in. Let's do that. Let's go way back so that we can cut out a nice amount of it, and then we bring it up until we get a kind of blade shape, like that. There you go. I'm using this for ease of being able to see what I'm doing. I might actually do a replace materials on this. So there's it's a little pointier than I was initially thinking, but it doesn't look terrible. Just a little bit pointier than I was thinking when I was first making it. But I also want to get rid of these. No. I want this to be out by 2. Actually, if I take down the depth, since this is 1 voxel thick, I should be able to just grab and select this entire thing. It'll only select this plane. And I'll delete that bit. I'll leave a gap here, but I'll just refill that. Or I might leave it because it looks kind of neat. Yeah, I may actually leave that. And that gives me a cool part on that part of the sword, and then we can just cut this part off to be even. And that is pretty much the sword blade with the inner and outer bit. And it's got a couple of wonky things happening here. A couple of weird wonky things. I might be able to fix that. Let's also select all of this and do a material replace. Fill material. Yeah. Aluminum fill material. Now we can see it better. Now that I'm done seeing what I'm doing, we can see what it actually looks like. And we might just need to mess with these voxels slightly to get the shape that we want back onto, back to this blade, since everything's a bit weird on it. I have to change these individual pixels, which I hate doing, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Oh, this is gonna be a pain. Now, if I'm gonna mess with any of these, I want to have my symmetry on. X symmetry, back 1, so that it's actually in the middle of the sword. There we go. Everything from now on should have symmetry on. Hide the window. And I kind of just want to play with these a little bit, see if I can get rid of some of this strange looking kind of cut that it created. Don't know if I'm going to be able to, though. Though overall I don't hate that look, to be honest with you. I don't hate it. I think I might keep that just because it's going to be almost, like, you'll be able to see a little bit, but it's going to be almost impossible to change now. Oh well. Next, I want to create the hilt and the crossguard. So the crossguard, I like, has this really cool kind of diagonal that away. I'm using my left hand because I'm using the other hand on the iPad. There's a kind of diagonal going this direction. Well, first it's got a square. It's got a square going like, it's got a big square hilt that steps down. And then the crossguard is kind of diagonal. Let's try making the diagonal crossguard first because I have an idea for that. We're going to use these. We're going to use our diagonally blocks. I want the crossguard to be about, the top will be pretty thin. The top will start around here, goes out the back very slightly, but not much. I need it to be 3 across, just like the first part of the blade. Goes out the back very slightly, goes to the forward very slightly, and then goes up into the sword a bit, like this. Actually, we need it to be further up because it does intersect with the sword blade. To the back very slightly, forward very slightly, up a little bit so that it intersects. Yeah, like that. Oopsie. Why did I do that? That was stupid. And you need to also have it go across a little bit so that it has some thickness. And that would help. Like that. And then we'll have to fill in some of that. That's just weird looking. This game does some weird things. Then we should be able to... Let's see, this is what? Like... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. We should be able to do kind of the same thing. But starting... Yeah. Kind of the same thing. And go up to meet it, and then use our tab to have it go the other direction. And there we go, we get that diagonal hilt. We get the diagonal crossguard, and then we have some weird bits in here that we need to try to deal with. I think it's a volume problem. Yeah, it's definitely just a problem of volume. Something is going very wrong with that. Wow, we're gonna have to play with those. Come on. I need the volume to be 0, I guess? Yeah, except for... So the part that I actually want to select is way inside here that I can't quite get to. What happens if I actually delete this part and then grab this and heal it? Come on, up. Still creates an awkward transition. Back to, come on. I wish I could select the inside more easily. I can't really. For individual pixels, there's no real way for me to select that, but let's now make all these slightly bigger and see if we can just heal at that hole. Without it looking too weird. Yeah, I can. Let's get this back up to 0-ish. I don't know why it created those holes there, honestly. It's all very strange. We might have to deal with a couple of spikes on this, because the way that the editor is giving me these holes is just strange, and I don't know why it's doing it. Yeah, negative anything gives me a hole. And I can't write in values for this. It's infuriating trying to work with these little sliders. 0, and this one can be back to around 0. Alright, not terrible. Not great yet, but not terrible. And this will end up a little bit further out than I wanted, so we'll delete that. No, only delete the one. Yeah, like that. Now let's work on the hilt. Should be a little bit easier because it's just a couple of rectangles heading down very slightly. We'll cover this better with this part of the hilt. First off, keep it as 3 across. Come on. Keep it as 3. And just get it to cover this here. Yeah, like that, and then it will step down once more so that it's just kind of barely intersecting with the rest of the handle here. I keep forgetting which way I have to drag first off. It's a bit weird. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. It's a little back heavy, but that's how I want it. Then we move down. Next we need a very thin... We'll need to turn off symmetry for this part. Because if we turn on symmetry while you're making a column, it'll make a really weird looking column. Now this is the part that I always hated with these swords. Because this is actually a too wide kind of column on here, which makes way too thin if you remake it out of your material. But it's way too thick if you make it any other direction. So I hate that. But this one actually has 2 layers. So you got a really thin part at the bottom, and then you go up a little bit, and then we can make our slightly thicker part. That looks like someone could actually hold the danged thing. Kind of like that, except that looks really ugly. Really, really ugly. Just so ugly. So let's see if we can make it this way, but then that looks too sharp. This is the part that I've always disliked on making these sword handles. I just wish it had a slightly easier way to do it. Anyway, we'll go up there, and then I will just use my editor, and we're going to just feather. Come on. Okay, that's a bit odd. I can't do any of these with my selection. Why not? Where did my tools go? Hide the window. Inspector. Where'd my... Oh, is it because I have my depth up? Yeah, it's because I have my depth up. Okay. I can't... you can only adjust the volume of 1 voxel at a time. So since I actually had... I had the thing set to select more than 1 voxel in a row, which created a bit of a problem there. So I want to even these out a little bit, so that can go away, and make it look like it's going in slightly. I'm starting to not like some of the things happening with this sword, but we're gonna have to see. Alright, I'm gonna have to see. I wanted to do this a little bit quick. I wanted to get a video done before I go on vacation. Show you guys this interesting sword idea. But if it doesn't turn out super well, then it doesn't turn out super well, and we'll just have to see. I also don't know what colors to make this thing at all. The hilt is a bit odd. I'm actually going to do a different thing with the hilt. It's also got kind of a slant on it, but only on the bottom. So we're going to create a 3 by something hilt here. I'm going to just get that there, and then it also has a little bit coming up on this side that's a little thicker. Up like that. Yeah, kind of like that. And I'm gonna... Actually, I like that. I'm not gonna mess with that, because I like the way that hilt looks. I was gonna try to cut out a little bit so that it had a bit of a little bit of a slant. Let's give that a try. But I think I might leave it. Well, that slant looks pretty good, and so does that. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That looks good. I like that on the hilt. Okay, so what I don't like is the crossguard, but I don't know if I can make this connection look any better. I've been playing with these, and I think the bit that I need to select is in the middle. So don't know if I'm going to be able to select that. Let's do a quick experiment. We'll delete all these. Alright, let's just delete those. Then we'll use our pencil tool and try to put a piece in the middle like that. Okay, that healed it up much better. Yeah, now it doesn't have that. It's still got a weird transition, but it doesn't have those weird kind of spiky bumps. So that's much better. Good, now I want to cut out a small little slit down the sides for a bit of color and some contrast. And I might cut out a small slit in the top of the blade itself. So let's see, starting from here, I might cut out a very small kind of, nope, that's way too close to the edge. Let's go up this way. Kind of a little bit of a slit. No, not liking that. But this inner part, I can cut out a small slit going down the side, just for a bit of interest. Give it some shape. Yeah, get a little bit of shape. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. And then this bit on the back, I'm gonna keep. I like that bit on the back. Alright, let's paint this. Yeah, let's give this a paint job. I don't know what exactly. Let's go into the paint job and let's give it a base coat of white. Let's give it a bit of a white base coat with a lot of, let's see, brush, huge radius. We give it a nice base coat here. I'm not super familiar with the Gundam series, but they use some pretty bright colors from what I understand. The sword reference picture I have is actually some sort of concept art, so it's got no colors on it. Let's pull up a picture of one of the Gundams so that I can see the kind of color scheme that they use. So I'll keep this bit white. Let's make this inner sword. Let's turn the radius way down. Yeah, let's make this inner sword a kind of silver. I always start my silvers with a blue. Kind of a light blue, really light blue. Somewhere in the bluish area. And then a kind of, you know, gunmetal-y looking gray color. Good. Gonna need to turn the... Alright, pretty nice. Gonna really need to turn the radius on this down. Get these details. I think I might keep this part white. Then the interior. Let's paint the inside. And the back. With this gray. But keep the outside white. Good. And then I want to paint along this slit, which is going to be very harrowing. Do it in little bursts so that I can undo if something slips. And not have to redo the whole thing. Good, that's looking decent so far. Now the hilt here, this part can be the same gunmetal gray as that bit up there. Then we're going to use some... I'll make the crossguard that kind of light, that kind of darker middle blue that they seem to like in this series. That can be a blue going that way. Okay, this is going to be the Gundam inspired sword, a series that I've never seen but has really cool looking swords. I did have some of those toys when I was younger. Those kits that you could build with the Gundams. I had some of those. I enjoyed putting those together and painting them. I've always liked models. I've been a bit of a model nerd. It's one of the reasons I like playing with this game. I want this bit to be blue as well. And then the other bits of the hilt and crossguard are going to be red. Come on. Now, this game is just making your own models for the video game, which is just fun. I did wish it gave you a little more control over some of it. But what are you going to do? Then we'll get this kind of a brighter red. There we go. And let's paint this thing. Again, do it in little spurts when you're near the edges, so when you mess up, you can undo. Since there's no color picker or eyedropper on these tools, it's a little, if you mess up, you need to undo instead of being able to just re-go over with your other color like you would with real paint. Like that, and then we get our kind of red, white, and blue America sword. This is either the Gundam inspired sword or the America sword. Alright, not my best paint job, I will admit. That white is a bit odd. I don't know exactly what to do about the white. Let's change it, because I hate that white. Let's make it a lighter, a lighter metal color. Lighter gray, so a really light gray instead of a white. Let's see how that looks up next to the other bit. Oops. Yeah, that's what you want to undo. Got a definitely sort of a gray color, but actually let's make it way darker. Yeah, let's make it way darker gray. That's okay, that's better. Yeah, I like that. We'll make it a very dark gray instead of that bright white. There. Okay, that's undo that. That's looking better. That's already looking better. Turn the radius up a bit for the blade. Got a couple of big blade pieces that we need to paint. There. Much, much, much better. Carry that over and around. Now it's time to turn it down, unfortunately. These tiny detail bits that I hate. Hate. Any bits that are still white are texture. Honestly, I'm not going to spend hours and hours finishing the paint job on this. Because I should use a decal, and I don't. Well, the decals kind of mess up sometimes now. I'm not sure what's up with the graphics. Some of the recent alphas have screwed up the graphics on the parts you make. It's something that needs to be worked on. And once again, I mess up. Come on, just that little bit there. Alright, where's that big white blotch? Big white blotch. Looks a little bit too blotchy in here. I want to get rid of any of the really, really terrible looking parts. It's not as terrible looking, but we'll still take care of some of it. And that little bit there, come on. That looks a lot better with the gray than it did with the white. I don't know how much I love this sword. Let's take a look at it in-game and see how it turned out. The inspiration looks a little better. I think it's going to turn out a tiny bit short. Might be more dagger-sized, I'll have to see. Let's give it a save, and I'll jump in-game and show it to you there. Back out we are. Now the gold on this is black. I don't know what's happening with some of the textures on this. It's kind of insane. Oop, now it's shiny. If you look at it, what if I turn it on? Now it just glows. I don't know. I really don't know. Welcome to Christmas and Hanukkah. Welcome to the holiday portion of these builds. Let's just go to our equipment and grab our new blade out and take a look at that. Whoosh. Oh, it's longer than I expected. Let's take a look. It's okay. In game, it looks a little better. I would have liked to get this top blade bit a little bit. Put it away. Come on. I would have liked to get this top blade bit a little bit thicker. I think is the only real problem I have with it. But other than that, it looks pretty good. I know that the red, white, and blue theme might be a little jarring. I didn't know what colors to make it, honestly, is the main problem with that hilt. But yeah, look at that's better than I thought it would look. It's much better, and it's a lot longer than I was anticipating it to be. I obviously do not know how long things are in this game. Rah! Alright, now let's take a look. I forgot to look at the final damage. Final attack is 220, which is not great. Better than my lightsaber. But not great, not terrible. 220. For reference, our in-game swords, like the energy sword, are 233, so it's better than your in-game sword. Mobile water pump. Interesting. Better than your in-game sword, but not by a huge amount. Anyway, this is the Gundam-inspired sword. I hope that you've liked it. I had fun making this. I had some fun with this build. It's not my best, but did have fun with it. Oh, there is sound good. Sometimes the sound weirds out. Anyway, Planet Explorer's build. Haven't done one in a while. I like how the sword turns out. It looks a little Lego-y. A little bit Lego-y in the hilt, but this bit turned out not bad. I do wish I'd gotten this a little thicker. A little bit thicker, but other than that, not a bad looking sword. Like it. I do like it. Gratuitous ass shot. There you go. For showing off the sword. That's why it needs to be. Yeah. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, you can leave a like. If you'd like to see more Planet Explorers videos, do leave the like so I know the kinds of videos that you enjoy. And you can subscribe to keep up to date with them. The reason that I haven't done one in a bit is because I didn't find any inspiration. I won't start without an idea because they always turn out terrible. So I needed some inspiration. If you have some photos or like a sword that's like, this would be cool to see you take on, you can send that along to me. You can email it to me in the YouTube messages or put it in the comments. Just whatever. Send me things that you think it would be cool to see me make, because I run out of ideas sometimes, and that is the limiting factor with some of these videos. Alright, like I said, like the video, subscribe if you want to see more. I'm Gepwin, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Oh crud, I just noticed she's holding it backward. Looks cool anyway.